Hi, I'm Skillet, and this is Nerd Stuff with Skillet. Today I'm going to talk about everybody's favorite fall TV show, The Inhumans. Episode 5 is called Something Inhuman This Way Comes. This episode was not as bad as the previous episode, so that's nice. I wish that Karnak and Jenna's plot was written a little bit better because I think they're both pretty good performers. Karnak clearly can do some action sequences, which you wouldn't know. The action scene in this episode is shot in the dark. Again, it's like they're cutting corners to not have to film action well, and I think that if you've got talented stunt people or people who can perform action well, you should shoot them in a way that shows off their abilities, and I think it's really sad when you don't do that. Karnak and Jenna wake up after doing the do, and they come out of the tent, and Reno tries to shoot them, but Karnak karate chops the bullet and sends it straight into Jenna's side, and then later on he pokes it really hard and it pops out the injury wound, and they sew him up with a sewing kit that she has on her because they're always popping holes in their tents, so she has to have it on her at all times. And I really don't get why Reno had to be bad and why Reno killed Ted and all of that stuff. Like, if there's a bigger bad, these other guys are going to come and kill you anyway. It could have been just as easy to write a story where they were the bad guys all along and Ted wasn't a bad guy. I don't see why we built up a story where we hate this guy who just ends up getting shot in the face. Like, it seems like we could have spent more time building a relationship with those characters, Reno and Ted, and Jenna and Karnak, even though their romance is kind of ridiculous to me anyway. So Karnak and Jenna run around the woods for a while, and then they decide to go back to camp, where they hang out for a while until they realize there are about 2 gigantic piles of packages sitting there that weren't there before. But neither of them is perceptive enough to have seen that before Karnak's running around trying all the different weapons that he can improvise at the campsite. Neither of them saw that until just before the bad guys get there, and they hide out, at least until it gets dark enough for us to not see the action sequence. And he comes out and he, starts hurting the dudes, and then Gorgon comes in and helps us. I guess the best part of this episode was probably the Black Bolt, Medusa, Locust, and Luis part. Luis talked a little less, so that was nice. Locust brings up all these great points as to why the caste system and everything doesn't work in Adelan, and really Black Bolt and Medusa don't have anything to say about it. They're like, well, we know it's kind of messed up, but that's what we have. But if you know that, then why aren't you fixing it? You're supposed to be the good guys. Locust catches a bullet and dies, and she's like, be a better king for me. And they're like, okay, we'll do that, totally. We had the ability all this time, but since our enemy just died, I guess we'll be better at it then. Whatever. They roll through after Jenna, Gorgon, and Karnak run away from the campsite, and they, I guess, take down the guys who weren't sufficiently hurt by Karnak and Gorgon, and they run into each other in the woods because all of this takes place in the woods. And Jenna runs away to go and call the cops and doesn't even want to chill with Karnak anymore. So again, what is the point? Why do I care? And I'm sure I'm supposed to get some sort of payoff from Karnak realizing that even though people have faults, he can still get over that and love people, and he doesn't always have to look for a conclusion to things. He can just roll with the punches and hang loose, as we find out later on in the episode. But whatever. Now Jenna's not around, and I think she was one of the better parts. Before all that takes place, Gorgon's running around trying to find Karnak, and I guess I missed the part where the Surfing Gorillas had created differences and broke up the band because they're no longer around. Maybe that was a part of the episode last week where I was gouging out my eyeballs from how disgustingly bad the episode was, or maybe they didn't explain it at all. I honestly don't know. Gorgon's he's just walking through the woods. Same thing we had last week, walking through the woods. Where's Karnak? He eventually finds where Karnak hit his head, and then he walks up and helps him at the freaking campsite, the farm, and he has all these flashbacks to when him and Karnak were back on Adelan. All of these flashbacks made me like both of them less. It's meant to show you that they work well as a team, I guess, but really all it shows you is that Gorgon messes everything up, and Karnak's a dick, tells him how to fix things, and that's their relationship. Karnak is a dick, and Gorgon messes things up. And there's no, fun to it, to me. It's not cohesive. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for other people, but it doesn't work for me. I don't believe it, and that's sad. Gorgon tries to actually think like Karnak in order to find him, I believe is what they were leading us to think about the situation. But really that just means Gorgon just thought for a minute, like he's actually thinking about things, and then that shows him a path to Karnak to a degree. Next we get the Lockjaw, Crystal, Dave, and Bitch Vet. Dave and Crystal take Lockjaw on a wild ride out to the beach, leaving Bitch Vet with the least believable reaction possibly in the whole series, where she sees somebody she's been in a relationship and a random stranger with this giant dog float away into colors, and then she goes, "Oh my God." So they go to the beach. And Crystal's like, "Well, what about my family?" And he's like, "Nah, man, the motto for Hawaii is, 'This is my office.'" And she's like, "I don't get it." And he's like, "Yeah, me either. The other motto is hang loose." And she goes, "Hang loose." And he's like, "Yeah, take it easy, dude. Like, take it easy. Let's get naked in the ocean." We all know that what happens when a human takes off their clothes and goes into the ocean, the Inhuman's gonna bang him. There's no two ways about it. Now, we didn't see them bang in this episode. They didn't save it for the last 2 minutes of the episode like they did in the previous one, but I'm sure we'll see that shit show of a story unwind in the next episode. Aren't you excited? Then we're back on Adelan, and Tybor's trying to talk some sense into the freaking Ramsay Bolton, and Ramsay Bolton's just getting more tyrannical by the moment, like not thinking logically at all. All he's worried about is catching the royal family, which is fine. Like, I believe that. That makes sense that he would want that. The Tybor keeps on trying to talk sense into him, and Ramsay's just being a bigger dick every couple of minutes. I really hope that this show doesn't ruin Ewan Rion, however the hell his name's pronounced. I hope this doesn't ruin his career. I hope that so few people watch this show that he can go on to do bigger and better things, because he deserves better roles than this, honestly. Like, even though this would be a cool role for him to play, in a reasonable character for him to play after Ramsay Bolton, I feel like all of his stage directions in the show are just stand there and look menacing and scared at the same time. And then he does that for the whole show. Like, he strolls on up to the statue of his dad, and I think that's the only steps we see him take in this episode. The rest of the time he's standing there, arms at his side, maybe slightly on the front, being menacing. And I'm like, why? Can't you give him anything to do? It's boring to watch that kind of thing. Like, I did a lot of theater, and if there's no stage movement, it puts the audience to sleep. And I mean, not in all cases, but I feel like in this show, like, there's just a whole lot of standing around. And then if they're not standing around, they're just ambling through the woods. And then every once in a while, there's some action that's shot in the dark, or shot so choppily that you can't see what's going on. Maybe they just had I don't know. I don't want to accuse any more people of things, I guess. But the action is written really poorly. Now, I'm not just talking about fight scenes, but just action in general. People moving from one place to another. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So we find out that Auron is alive and clearly is becoming a little bit more disillusioned with Maximus. We find out that Mortis is alive with the, like, plant growy chick. They've got Lava Hands as their hostage, and they've got him wrapped up in some vines. And he uses his lava hands to break the vines, and then he runs away. But before he can run too far, they put some more vines on his hands. But he doesn't use his lava hands again to remove the vines. He just keeps on going. I guess that was to show you that, like, oh, we know that he can escape, but he's only going to try once and then he's done. At the end of the episode, Tybor gets asked by some guards to, like, help them take down Maximus, I guess, and he seems ready to do that. He's been kind of dismissive of a lot of things Maximus has said, and, like, acted like he's not down with all of the crazy shit that Maximus is trying to do, or doesn't like the way in which he's doing it, I guess. So that makes sense. That leads to a takedown of Maximus in the future while the royal family tries to get back up to Adelan. One of the things that Jenna says to Karnak towards the end of their time together, the best part of the show, which was also bad, she says, "A little bit of doubt is good for you." And I just really feel like the production team should have thought that a million times when they were doing this show. A little doubt is good for you. Maybe we shouldn't make this. Maybe we should wait until we have enough money to do it right. Maybe we should wait another year so that we can refine the script and make it watchable. Or maybe we should get some camera guys, or, like, an editor, or something, anything at all to make this show better. And they didn't do that. The sound design of the show is ridiculous. I mean, some of the, like, scoring and background music is fine, but, like, anytime they bring in, like, a modern upbeat song, it is always spliced in there in a really awkward way. Like last episode we got the sex scene music, which was ridiculous, and then this episode we got Karnak training, and like, it was so bad. Like, it's, if your sound design is distracting, it is badly designed, always. If I am not, and maybe everything else is just so hard to watch that the sound design stands out even more, but like, it's just not good. It's just not good. Gladly, there are only a couple more episodes left in this show, so you're not going to have to, if you are watching my videos regularly, you are not going to have to listen to me bitch about this for months. It's just, you know, a couple more episodes. Not too much of a commitment. Just watch this tragedy unravel, and maybe they'll save it in the last couple episodes. Maybe the last few episodes will be amazing. Wouldn't that be cool? Now that all of the bullshit plots other than Dave and Crystal are gone the wayside, like, maybe they'll have room to actually make us give a shit about the characters. I will continue watching this show. It is terrible, but I've got a lot of other good shows that I am watching right now. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment down below if you want to have a conversation about Inhumans, whether you like it or not. I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can, you know, cuss me out about how much I dislike it if you want. I don't really care. I'll respond. And make sure to subscribe if you want to hear about more nerdy stuff from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.